Hey, how many times have you heard somebody, or perhaps yourself, said, I wish I had more motivation, right? Particularly when it comes to exercising consistently, working out consistently, or something else that is very important to you that you feel that is important to do, but you're not doing it consistently. I know I have. In fact, my whole time growing up, people are always telling me, I wish I had as much motivation as you. I wish I could be as motivated as you. I wish I could do this, that, and the other thing. And then, more recently though, it has shifted. And now you hear, and actually the reason I'm doing this video is based off of an interview that Jocko Willink had with another guy. I was listening to a podcast, and he was talking about how discipline is greater than motivation, right? Motivation and is at least in the context that they're using it, and later on in this video I'm going to give my perspective on motivation and how I think that we're using that term wrong in this situation. But anyway, he's saying, you know, motivation is how you feel in the moment, how excited you are to do the thing, but discipline is you show up and you do the thing regardless. Hey guys, Aaron Kupitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetics of Eau Claire, blending science and innovation to help busy men in their 40s build muscle, shed fat, and perform better in their lives inside and outside the gym. Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to take a little bit of a break from talking about the benefits of muscular endurance, which is pillar number 1 of my Hybrid Strength program. Hybrid Strength 101 is my 16-week strength and conditioning program designed to help busy men in their 40s build 5 to 10 pounds of muscle and drop 15 to 20 plus pounds of body fat with just 20 to 30 minutes of targeted strength training per day. Alright, so that's great. But you can have the best program in the world, but if you're not doing it consistently, you're not going to get the results that you want. Hence, motivation, which is the topic of today's video. But I think that a lot of people get motivation a little bit mixed up with enthusiasm or excitement, right? So bear with me for a second. What is the root of the word motivation? Motive, right? So when you're watching a TV show or something, or when the law enforcement, there's a crime that happens, what are they doing, right? They say they're looking at the possible suspects and they're looking for motive, right? What is the reason? Who could have had a possible reason for, or a good reason for doing this? Who had the most reason that they would want to go and commit this crime? So if we look at motivation from that perspective, you can see that excitement or enthusiasm is not the primary definition of motivation, although it can be somewhat related. Instead, motivation is your why. Why do you feel that it's necessary to go to the gym? And for most people, it's because they want to lose some body fat, they want to build some muscle and get stronger, or they want to become a better athlete, or just have more energy, right? These are your motives. Hence, you have motivation just by nature of the fact that you desire to go to the gym, that you feel guilty if you don't go to the gym. Now, there are some instances of people who actually enjoy the process of working out. And this is typically people who have committed to the process through discipline to get in shape, to get the results, and now they continue to do it for the joy of doing it. But for most people, they are more goal-oriented versus process-oriented, right? i.e., doing the work in the gym, going to school, doing this, the different things are a means to an end, not the end in itself. And the problem is that many times you don't have the enthusiasm to go and do the work, right? Because the amount of effort required to do this, the obstacles that are standing in the way of you getting there, and also the results or lack of results that you're getting in the gym are all going to affect your level of enthusiasm, not motivation, but enthusiasm or excitement for going and doing the thing. And this is where I agree with Jocko, discipline becomes indispensable. And this is also why we should be saying discipline is greater than excitement or enthusiasm versus motivation. Because motivation must precede discipline. There would be no reason to have discipline if you didn't have motivation to begin with. It's just that your enthusiasm may dwindle over time. But here's the cool part. There is a couple of cool things that come out of being disciplined, and how it is a positive feedback loop whereby you get more excitement and more enthusiasm the more disciplined you are. And there's two ways that this happens. So the first way this happens is when we know that in order to get our desired outcome, getting in better shape, whatever that means for you, we have to be consistently doing the thing. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you can have the best workout program in the world, i.e. Hybrid Strength 101, but if you're not doing it consistently, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And so, by being disciplined, setting up and creating the structures that are going to make it so that you can just go and do this thing, and you do it regardless of how you feel. I've talked about in other videos, go by how the bar is moving. This is a classic example of discipline. You're not going by your feelings. So for example, this morning, I woke up and had a long weekend and stuff like that. I got up and I was just mentally tired, and as a result, I felt physically tired, and I hadn't run in like a week or something. And typically I'll run, once or twice a week for a total of 5 to 10 miles. And that usually happens either on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday that I'm doing these, and I hadn't done it. But I'm like, you know what? It's been a while. I'm just gonna go out there and try to do this and see how it goes. And I'm so glad I did, because the second half of my run was better than the first part. Sometimes you get so bogged down in the brain stuff and you're just so intent there that you have to have a cut, right? Where you segue and move into doing stuff with your body versus with your brain, right? And so oftentimes I will listen to audiobooks when I'm running, and this time I just listened to nothing. I went old school, and it was the best thing because it allowed my mind to relax, just wander all over the place while I was running, and by the time I was done with the run, I felt way more energy than I had at the beginning, and I'm glad I did it. So that was a classic example of discipline. Hey, it's been too long, you haven't done this, let's go and do it. You don't have a health problem right now that's preventing you from doing this, so let's see if we can work through it, test it out, go by how the bar is moving, go by how your running is going. And if you go out there and you run halfway and you're just like run out of gas, well, yeah, it's probably a good time to take the day off, and then you can just walk back or whatever. And just call it a day, and it'll be a rest day, right? So that's the first instance. Now, here's the thing. By being consistent, you start seeing the results of your efforts, right? Provided you're following a sound program, you're eating properly, right? You're going to start getting the results that you set out to get through that consistency. And what happens when you're getting results? When you're getting positive feedback, your excitement, your enthusiasm goes up as a result of doing that, and now you don't need as much discipline to continue doing it because you have the excitement and the enthusiasm to keep on going. So the second way in which discipline helps you to increase your enthusiasm is because of a natural law called the law of compensation. Basically, everything in nature seeks balance. Even if it's things in the political spectrum, right? Like you will notice that one year, people like in the United States, you get a bunch of people voting Democrat, and you get a Democratic president. And that goes maybe a year or two, and then it swings back the other way, and you get a more conservative president, and it goes back and forth, right? Same thing is if you've worked really hard with your brain, right? You're just crushing it at the office, you're just, doing all this stuff, working really hard, providing for the family, right? And then the weekend or a Saturday, whatever, there's generally a time every week when you hit this point and all of a sudden you hit the wall. And regardless of how badly you want to go and do the work, your brain is just like, no, we're not doing this. And this is actually kind of where I was yesterday, right? I just, did things very slowly, but my brain was just tired. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily lazy. It could, but most of the guys watching this, you're into personal development, self-improvement. You're into improving your body, getting more fit, right? You're probably like that in other areas of your life as well. And so the problem isn't the laziness, it's because of an imbalance. You're running red all the time, working hard, and there needs to be some time for rest and rejuvenation. Just like the Chinese symbol, yin and yang, right? Contrast. Yang is that masculine, extroverted, let's go, 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 right? And yin is more that receiving, restorative, parasympathetic, gentle, relaxing, right? And you need both of them to become the best, strongest, and healthiest version of yourself. So the same thing goes for discipline, right? One thing that I've noticed throughout my life, and actually on Instagram, I made a reel a couple of weeks ago saying pursuing happiness is a waste of time, right? But basically what I was saying, one of the things, without recapping that entire video, you can check it out at Functional Aesthetics of Eau Claire on Instagram, but the end of the thing was saying that sometimes I feel my best after there's something I know I should be doing to achieve my goals, but I don't want to do the thing. And when I do the thing, I feel great, right? And that has to do with the law of compensation. The more resistance you feel in trying and obstacles and trying to do the thing you were trying to do, once you break through that resistance, the happiness, the joy, the euphoria is equal to the amount of resistance you experienced to get there. So, there's two different things that we just talked about here. Discipline to go and do the thing, and then as the result of because you are consistent, you are getting results, right? And now, therefore, you have more excitement, more enthusiasm to go and do more of the thing that is giving you the results. And on the other hand, you also get that dopamine surge of the happiness and euphoria of working really hard and breaking through, right? It's just like if you are, running, like I've given examples of this years ago when I was in some of my other videos and my Facebook posts, is when an athlete goes and runs at altitude, does their training at altitude, right? And then they come back down to sea level, they can perform much better without fatiguing, right? When you're running up hills, when you're running with a weighted vest, when you are running with a parachute behind you, and then you remove that resistance, you rocket forward with much more energy, right? Because there's all that latent energy, potential energy being stored up, but being held back. And the more you're being held back, the more it builds, the more that resistance builds up and builds up and builds up, that finally when that dam breaks, it's a tidal wave coming through. So the next time you don't have the enthusiasm or the excitement about going to the gym or about anything else in your life that is in alignment with your goals, right? Where you want to be in your life, and you don't have the excitement about doing it, just remember that when you do it, you will be rewarded with increased dopamine, excitement, enthusiasm, compensatory to the amount of resistance that you experienced. And by doing the thing, you're going to get the results, which will motivate you to continue doing more of that thing. Thanks guys for watching. If you like this content, hit that like button. If you'd like to see more content related to workout design for building muscle, shedding fat, also diet in that regards, athleticism, and then how to avoid getting injuries when you're in the gym, and if you do get injuries, how to work around them, and then also like mindset, motivation, philosophical sort of content like I just shared in this video, consider subscribing to this channel by hitting the button in the lower right hand corner of the screen, and we'll see you all next time.